Hey, what's up? This is Brad Stinson, the Mortgage Marine. I'm here with my good buddy, Andy Rose. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? How you been?
Oh, been a long time no see. I got to finally meet you last week, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I had to take you to a Waffle House, man. Welcome to Atlanta. Go to Waffle House.
Full disclosure, that was the first time I've ever been to Waffle House. Out of all my travels, I've never been to Waffle House.
I was shocked. I was like, hey, at least I was the one to bring you there, right?
But you also felt dirty. You're like, I'm bringing you to Waffle House. But
No, if it's not a little bit dirty at a Waffle House, don't trust it.
well, the whole reason why you and I met up last week is because we share many things in common, right? So who are you?
Well, I'm Andy Rose. I'm a realtor, and I'm a jarhead just like you are. And we have a passion with working with veterans, especially in the real estate space. You doing mortgages, I'm doing real estate as an agent. And the passion is to help our fellow veterans use their VA home loan benefit. And I think that's where we kind of bring this together, is that you on the loan side, me on the agent side, and trying to get the correct information out there to the masses, agents, veterans, other loan officers, the general public, especially when they're selling a house and a VA home loan offer comes across the table. It's a pet peeve of mine, really, that an agent will say, hey, I love working with veterans, until a VA home loan offer comes across the table. And they're like, oh, well, they take so long. We're going to have appraisal issues. We're going to have all these problems. And it couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, we will get to your pet peeve here in just 1 second. All right.
All right.
But what prompted all of this was we are in a lot of the same Facebook groups because we are vets, and we see these questions that come up time and time again. And the amount of misinformation and just bogus posts that are on those, it's just mind blowing, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I know us vets, we try to help each other out in any way that we possibly can. We just went through the home loan process.
Right.
We're familiar with it. We try to help. The key word is try. What we don't know is going on is we are actually just regurgitating the same misinformation or nonsense that we were told in the first place, unbeknownst to us. Right. So from one veteran to another, or who's ever watching this, I plead with you, stay in your lane. Okay. Because it is the amount of work that we have to do in our line is abundant, right? Overcoming all these myths and misconceptions. And if we also have to fight, overcome these objections with our fellow vets, it just becomes even harder. All right. So let's unite underneath the intent of staying in your lanes. I'm never going to give anybody plumbing advice. I don't know anything about plumbing. I mean, all I know is you flush toilet, it goes down. That's about it, right?
Yeah. And that's it. We see these veteran groups that we're in Marine specific groups, and people always have questions. We're in real estate groups as agents and the mortgage guy. And then, I'm in my own specific real estate agent groups. You're in mortgage specific groups. And we see a lot of the same misinformation. And that's really what, our goal is you and I and others like us. I mean, there's very few of us that actually dig into this so much on the VA home loan space, but it's getting the correct information out there.
Yes,
and even
absolutely.
people that have been doing this for a while don't update things. Things have changed a whole lot in the last couple of years because they've rewritten the handbook.
Yes.
And some of these loan officers and agents, they haven't gone and got updated. Shockingly, but we're constantly doing continuing education, but we're not in some realms. We've got to stay on top of this.
So back to your pet peeve, Andy. So the whole goal, I mean, we have dedicated and committed ourselves to kind of monitoring these groups, and the same questions that keep coming up. Andy and I are going to hop on a call and we will do this, and we'll break it down and provide the actual truth, because this market is bananas right now across the country.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is our mission to help our fellow vets achieve the American dream of home ownership. And how do we do this? We provide the right information and we empower you to make the right
Right.
choice. All right.
Right.
So our first one, Andy's pet peeve.
My biggest pet peeve really
Yeah.
is agents that say they love working with veterans, but then they're a listing agent and they're working with a seller, and that VA home loan benefit offer comes across the table and they've got all the information wrong. Maybe they haven't dealt with one in a couple of years, or the last one they dealt with was a crap show. Really, I mean, sometimes that happens, but I've had crap shows on all different types of loans: FHA, conventional, investor loans. I've had problems. Usually the problem with the VA home loan is the lender, and that's where someone like you comes in, who dives in and does a majority of your loans as VA. When we talk about these lenders out there that they do maybe a handful of deals a year, VA loan deals, they don't know everything. They don't know half of the things that they're supposed to know. And they push along a lot of bad information to the veteran and to the agents, because they'll tell veterans, I've had, USAA, for example, tell a veteran, hey, you can't buy a condo. That's not the truth. Maybe they won't loan to him for a condo.
The VA won't allow it.
That's the VA will allow a condo.
I know.
I mean, I know you're joking with me, but I mean, you go to the va.gov website and there it is. It tells you that you can look it up. You can look up to see if the condo is already approved.
Yep.
So if they didn't do condos, why would they even have that page?
Correct. And along the lines of a condo, the condo packet that needs to go into the VA is 100% free. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
I've had veterans pay for that.
Yes.
I had an HOA for a condo pay for it out of their own pocket to try to get it approved. I'm like, you didn't need to do that. You just needed to turn in the freaking paperwork.
I know, it blows me away. So, I mean, if you are working with a lender or a person who knows what they're doing, this process is smooth and it's usually done within 5 business days.
Right.
So long as you submit the right documentation. If you don't, then the VA is going to ask you questions. But anyway, back to what you were saying. Sorry.
So another pet peeve is the general public, because they don't know, they think 100% loan is less of a strength. They're not putting any money down. They got no skin in the game, and it couldn't be further from the truth. And I don't want to be cliche and say, hey, they put their skin in the game on the battlefield and all that stuff. Yeah, that's true, but that's big picture stuff. Let's actually talk about the finances. They're 100% because the VA is going to guarantee the loan. Now, they have their particulars behind it, 25% and all that stuff. But the qualifying factors for a veteran are actually a little bit more strict than a conventional, and definitely more strict than an FHA, because while lenders will look at on a VA the debt to income ratio, they're vetting them off of their residual income. So those numbers up there are a little bit tighter. So you could have a high DTI while still allowing this vet to go through. On an FHA, that ain't happening. A lot of the conventionals, that ain't happening.
Correct.
They're not looking at that stuff.
So to go a little bit deeper with what you're talking about, residual versus DTI. DTI is how much money you make versus how much money you owe. Residual is real money. So how much money is left over at the end of the day to support your family or yourself,
right,
after all of your bills are paid. Now, it might sound like that is a weaker option, but in all actuality, as you already alluded to, it's substantially better, right? Because if you look at the history of performance of these loans, VA blows the rest of them out of the water. And I'm talking, It's not even close. I mean, VA foreclosure percentage is under 1%. Conventional is 3, FHA's over 8. I mean, it's mind blowing.
Right.
Okay. So the fact of the matter is these VA buyers are substantially, they're as good as, if not better than conventional buyers. The only difference is they've earned the right to put 0 down.
Right.
Okay?
And there again, it's cost effective for them with the funding fee is usually, if most of your recent veterans are disabled, so they don't have to pay the funding fee. There's unallowable fees that don't allow lenders to overcharge for ridiculous stuff because we know they do it on conventionals. They do it on FHAs. There's not the same guidelines. On top of the fact that the VA lender's handbook is written in a grayscale. So there's some looseness there. Hey, this guy has a high DTI, but he's got some compensating factors like his spouse isn't on the loan and the spouse makes $100,000 a year. So who cares if they've got 70, 75% DTI? The spouse makes plenty of money and is going to live with them. They're already living together. You know, they're just not, she's just not on the loan. The spouse isn't on the loan together. So it's things like that that allow underwriters to make those calls, to have the discretion to make those calls. And the VA encourage them to make those calls. If it benefits the veteran to purchase this house, then do it. And you don't get that with the FHA at all.
And the whole, like, to go back to your pet peeve, the reason why you're saying this is because you know this. You're an educated agent in the VA space. Okay. So how does a veteran identify an educated or VA educated agent?
Yeah.
That's my question to you, man.
That's something that I would say it's not necessarily experience, but more recent experience. Maybe you haven't been doing real estate for 10, 20 years, but you've been doing real estate for the last 3 years and you've done, you know, a dozen or so. Okay. A good agent for veterans is going to have a particular loan officer that they recommend specifically for VA, because not every loan officer is going to be very specific with VA. So they have that as well. If they try to guide you away from homes, if they're complaining about, you know, the VA is not going to get accepted, the VA that's talking very negative about it, and you'll hear it because I get calls about this stuff all the time nationally, you know, networking with other agents. I get calls about this stuff all the time. If they're going to be negative about it, then you've got to look out for it. The other thing is that on the flip side is that you can find a really great loan officer, and they don't necessarily have to be local and in your state. Sometimes that helps, but with VA, I would say find the person who's doing a large majority of their stuff, and you can ask for their numbers. Large majority of their stuff is VA, and say, hey, who do you recommend? Because a lot of it's going to be on the lender. You know, the agent and the lender going to the listing agent and saying, hey, this guy's solid. Here's the, you know, you can't give specifics, but here's where they're at. We're good on everything. We can close fast and everything. So it's stuff like that. We probably need to do this again and put together a little bit more specific list of a bad VA agent.
This is just our coming out party here, man.
Yeah.
So hey, right. So I mean, you know, the whole thing is, and you're kind of dancing around the topic. Who you work with matters, and it is super important that you work as a team. You got to cover and move throughout this whole process, because again, earlier in this call, I said, stay in your lane. I'm never going to be able to articulate and present things that an agent does, because I just don't understand, because quite frankly, I don't care. It doesn't, you know, it's not my thing, right?
I'll say this. I'm an agent. I'm also a veteran. I'm certified in MRP, military relocation. Okay. So that's a designate, that's a certification with National Association of Realtors. I will say that certification does not speak about the VA home loan. They mention it, but they don't speak in any detail or any correct detail that it needs to be. So just because an agent has an MRP designation or certification doesn't necessarily mean they know the terminology about military moves.
How about hometown heroes or homes for heroes?
Yeah.
Homes for heroes, same thing. This is just a gimmick. These agents are paying a monthly fee. These lenders are paying a monthly fee, and they're agreeing to reduce their commission. So they're just paying money out to get these leads. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're experienced in the VA world. Now, it could also mean that they are, but most of them that I have come across, and you can probably attest to it too, that they're not. They're just trying to get the low-hanging fruit. Now, these ones, you know, you can easily tell. You can easily tell somebody's mindset and their work ethic by the way in which they do business when no one's around. So if they're trying to press the easy button just by throwing some cash out there, what do you think the likelihood of them being, you know, busting your tail for you is going to be?
Right. No, I agree with that. You know, I work on the listing side a lot, so I get to advise clients on VA loans because almost all the time I'm going to have at least one VA offer, and if it's compared to, if all the numbers are the same, offer, appraisal gap, earnest money, if all of that stuff is the same, VA to conventional or even FHA, if all that's the same, I would recommend that the VA is at the top of the list as long as they're with the right lender. And I've actually worked on the listing side and told the agent on the other side, get your guy pre-approved, get your veteran pre-approved with this specific lender so that I know they're good. And then they end up flipping to that lender because they realize that, you know, the big ones, the big three, USAA, Navy Federal, Veterans United. I know you don't want to say them. I will say them.
Thank you for saying that for me, buddy.
I know you don't want to say it. I will say it. I've had more problems with them and talking to other veterans and closing deals than anyone else.
And I think that's a video topic for next week. Absolutely.
Yeah,
we'll talk about lenders and what to look for. And then from there, we will absolutely start breaking down some of these other things, how to make you a stronger buyer in this banana market.
Right.
You know, like
especially as a veteran.
Yeah. I mean, here's one. If you by yourself only qualify for a $200,000 loan, what about bringing in a co-buyer like a mom, dad, or girlfriend, or a friend, or another veteran? This is called a VA joint loan. It's 100% possible, 100% doable. But if you talk to 98%, and I'll probably say more like 99, they believe that that's not a thing. So that's one way right there. And many other tips and tactics and tricks that we have up our sleeves because we are in this space every single day.
Right.
And Andy's wife actually is in every single day.
She's digging in even more. So she's got that top end knowledge with 20 years of experience of underwriting VA home loans. So that's something that at some point in the future, we can definitely bring her into some of these conversations, but we get, anybody that wants to send questions to us, whatever platform you see this on, send us questions. We'll get you solid answers from not just us and our experience and our knowledge, but also from an underwriter's experience and knowledge of 20 years.
As well as real estate agent connections and lender connections in other states.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a huge network of legitimate, bona fide VA experienced loan officers and real estate agents that we can connect you with to get you the truth, because that's the what it all boils down to. The truth about the VA home loan, overcoming these misconceptions and all these rumors, and it's just not it's not there. So I think that's all we got for right now.
Hey, let's go back to who you work with matters. So hit us up if you got questions. Let's do this again soon and get more good and correct information out.
Let's do this, brother. Separate five, man. Thanks for your time, brother.
See you, man. Have a good one.